Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, and it is Tuesday night. It is really, really cold. We're expecting snow. Uh, it's as you can see, it's after tea time. So, just doing a wee walk with the dogs. I'll just be a wee short video. Just check in on all these and make sure you're all alright. Did throw quite a big video yesterday. It was nearly an hour long. Sorry, you know what I mean. But I know quite a lot of you do enjoy the big videos, and that's why I do it. I'm not, and don't take it the wrong way. I'm not catering for the majority. And I know you know that. My appreciation overflows, so it does, for the loyalty and the commitment of keeping up and watching all my videos. It's just amazing, you know what I mean? So because of that, then I'm not just going to pander to the big numbers, you know what I mean? Because obviously you put out shorter videos, more people will watch it, more people interact, more people then YouTube then share the video, and obviously subs and all the rest of it goes up, you know? And there is a part of me does want to grow, you know? But I want to grow for the right reasons, guys, you know? I want to grow with an audience that gets something out of, you know, listening to me, even if it's like, and I'm not trying to say I'm some sort of guru, of course I'm not. I've just got experience that I talk about that a lot of people don't talk about, so they don't. You never hear the stories of the aftermath of children's homes and childhood abuse and prison, you know. And very rarely do you get it from a violent offender, even though I'm not violent. I am down as a violent offender because they class armed robbery as violent. And when I say I'm not violent, I've never pointed a gun at anybody and threatened to shoot them, you know. I've never told anybody to get on the ground. I've never done nothing like that, you know. I was a professional bank robber. I knew exactly how the security worked. I knew how bank clerks worked. I knew how bank managers worked. I knew how they were trained. So I know how to get in and out under 40 seconds and take everything that's in the tills, and without scaring anybody. A lot of the time, a lot of people didn't even know it was a bank robbery that just happened. Obviously, they see the person jumping over the counter, you know, and depending if there's two people, one would be on one side, keeping an eye on the door. Anybody coming in doesn't go back out, and obviously anybody in doesn't go out. And that's just the most threatening bit. But I've never experienced a time when I've had to scare anybody or threaten anybody. Yeah, but no, bank robberies. I'll just touch on the bank robberies. Why not? Something different for you. Bank robberies. It's not like you see in the movies. You know what I mean? Bank robberies, the secret of bank robbery was, and I can talk about it because bank robberies, it's done. Like, this is why I worry about cashless society, because you can't rob a bank anymore. They've got these machines where you got to put your card in, basically. And why have we got two torches there? Sorry guys, I'm in the middle of nowhere and there's a wee forest in front of me. And I can see light. Gotta be careful. And stop. And I can see another light down there. So there's two people in a row of a forest. So there is, but tulip. Not overly concerned. To be honest with you, if it was anybody that did me any harm, I wouldn't be able to see their torch. Simple as that. But just another dog walker. I'm just because there's two, one here and one down there. It's strange. But listen, it's like there's no cash, you know. Back in the day, you would get up to 6 to 10 grand sometimes in a till, you know. There's a lot of money back in the day. Let's go back down this way. You know, sometimes you could only get 3 or 4. Just depends, you know what I mean. Depending what ones you hit, you know. But like I say, them days are over, guys. Sorry, I've just lost my focus a wee bit. I like to keep my head in the swivel. It does no harm, you know. You talk about paranoia from Belfast. Belfast, guys, when we talk about paranoia, if somebody says you're paranoid, the other person will say it keeps you alive. You know, so you can never be too paranoid. Go ahead, girl. But yeah, bank robberies, it wasn't like the movies, guys, where the car goes flying up outside the bank with the streets and everybody jumps out and everybody runs in the bank with the balaclavas. Nothing like that at all. Bank robbery is parking a car 2 corners away and blending in with the public. So obviously you've got the choice of when you do it, you know, and you know, I'm just speaking in general because I know a lot of bank robbers, guys, so just keep myself covered. I know a lot of bank robbers, so I know a lot of stories about bank robberies, okay? And so you would pick a day that was wet and rainy and windy, you know, plenty of them days in there. Because everybody's got their heads down, you know, everybody's got umbrellas up, everybody's just wanting to get from A to B, you know, nobody's interested in nothing about them. So that's the first step. The second step is you need to blend in with the public. You need to look normal, you know, whether that be dressing up as a builder, painting and decorator, traffic warden, whatever. Anything where you can have a hat that's got a peak. So if you just bend your head a little bit, any CCTV cameras from above have got no chance of getting you because of your peak. As long as you keep your chin on your chest, you'll never get picked up by a CCTV camera from high up, you know. Because I used to always joke, you know what I mean, if I was in charge of security, I'd have CCTV cameras on the floor looking up the way, you know what I mean? But they never ever did that. But yeah, so, and then it's just a matter of getting in. So Belfast is a very dangerous place to rob a bank because all our police are armed. And as you know from my stories, I've had friends shot inside banks and I've been threatened with policemen, by policemen with guns in the head telling me they're going to shoot me when they get a chance and stuff like that, you know. Just their way of a wee bit of fun, bit of crack. And so you do not want to be seen going into a bank, even though you're only going to be in there for seconds, right? Because you're never in. I don't want any bank robbers that would be in a bank for any more than a minute, and that's a long time. A minute is a long time for a bank robber, trust me. Like I say, when I was at trial, the prosecution bank timed all the bank robberies I got accused of. They timed them all in court, and I don't think one of them went over 40 seconds. And that was our way of saying that we were professional bank robbers in Belfast, etc., etc. And not professional isn't the word, you know what I mean? But Bailey, Tulip, come on, guys, stay close. It's getting too dark. I can hardly see them. Yeah, so you're wanting to go in without anybody knowing what's going on. You're no saying nothing. You're no speaking. You're going in the door. You got to understand that banks in Belfast were getting robbed regularly. So bank clerks were getting extensive training in how to operate with bank. Now, years ago, it used to have screens and all that, and alarms going off. But what happened then was people who were getting locked in the banks with the bank robber were suing the bank for more money than the bank was actually losing. And people were even suing the bank because they were saying they were getting a fright from the alarm going off. So that's why, you know, the alarms in banks stopped about 20 years ago. And a lot of you won't know this, you know, but I know it sounds a bit nuts, but yeah, alarms in banks stopped going off about 20 to 15, over 20 years ago. I know what I'm talking about, over 20 years ago. So as a bank robber, we knew that the bell wouldn't go off. It would be a silent bell that would go straight to the police station. And we also knew that there wouldn't be any screens going up and we wouldn't be getting locked into the bank. So basically you're just walking in as a builder, painter, decorator, anything with a baseball cap on. It just looks normal, you know. And one man will stand at the door and the other man will go over the counter. You don't normally need a man. I got accused of doing 2 banks over here on my own. Like, obviously I never done them. I was found not guilty for them. But I'm just going to be careful I don't break my neck here, guys. It's a wee bit blinding looking into this light. But, you know, it is, you know, doing them with somebody on your own, it's neither here nor there. But if you're with somebody, you're like, one person's at the door and you're just going straight in, straight over the counter. As soon as you go over that counter, the bank clerks, come on guys, the bank clerks know exactly what's going on, and they step back. And they'll even encourage you and help you. Yes, so they will. Some will be quite smart and try and give you what we call bandit notes. Now, I'm not going to go into bandit notes just because there might be other places around the world that still have these sort of security measures, and I wouldn't want to give anybody knowledge like that, you know. So I'm not going to touch on that. But bandit notes were basically a device that exploded in the bag that covered everything with ink, which was then unusable. Well, it wasn't actually unusable, but it was difficult, more difficult to get rid of. And you couldn't spend it just in shops or anything like that. And yeah, so that's basically it. Because the cashiers are standing back out of the way and everything, you sort of, and you know what you're looking for. You know what the bandit notes look like. Sorry guys, I fucking blinded myself there. You know what the bandit notes look like. So everything's good. You know what I mean? As far as like you can't go wrong. You know, so yeah, you go. I think around about 40 seconds would do it. To be honest with you, not much more than that. You know, sometimes 30 seconds. It just depends. You know, so yeah, and you could be clearing from £10,000 to £20,000 in 40 seconds, you know. But yeah, like I say, them days are over now. But yeah, so I'll rewind and try and explain to you exactly why and what happened to me to make me become a bank robber. Now, I'm not blowing my own trumpet. I am ashamed of who I became. I'll be honest with you. I'm proud of who I am, but I'm ashamed of some of the things I've done, okay? Because even though these bank clerks are trained, you know, they're human beings who get scared, you know, and it can be quite scary. All of a sudden, your peaceful day is totally disturbed by some lunatic jumping over a counter, you know, so I need to address that, guys, you know, and I'm not bigging it up, believe you me. I'm trying to explain to you that who I am and that I'm not a BSer, you know. I'm going to tell you what the police have said about me, right? So they say that I'm responsible for £900,000 worth of bank robberies in Northern Ireland. And yeah, probably one of the biggest bank robbers in Northern Ireland they ever come in Northern Ireland, and the last bank robber. And that's what they say, you know. And you know, you can't just come out and say stuff like that. You know, people would slaughter you. My mates would slaughter me. You know what I mean? But the thing is, and a lot of my mates have been there all my life, you know, so they all know me, you know what I mean? And they know the people I know, because I could be talking about, like I say, I know bank robbers, you know. Yeah, so there was a gang, they called them the Counter Crew, you know. And that was Protestants, and then you had a gang of Republicans that done cash and transits. They done the cash machines and stuff like that. So I'll maybe do a story about that, because that's quite interesting as well. But so basically, and I'm not making excuses here, I'm trying to explain to you the psychology of how a young man becomes a bank robber, right? And you know, everything I'm saying, you've just got to accept it, that I'm telling you the truth, you know. I am a nice person, I'm a good person, I've got a really good heart. I find it very easy to love. I struggle to forget and forgive and stuff like that, but that's just trauma through life. That is, you know, mental health. But I'm a really good soul, kind-hearted soul, really generous, so I am. And I believe in God, and I believe that I'll go to heaven. So how can somebody like that become such a lethal bank robber, according to the security services in Northern Ireland? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly how it happened, or how it could happen, and how it happens to most kids. So when my mum died when I was 8, as you know, and I know most of you that have been here from day one are probably sick hearing me going on about it, and I apologise, you know, and I'm not looking sympathy. You know I don't look sympathy. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world, and I keep saying that to everybody. I never look for pity. I just look for understanding, because it's a difficult life to have gone through, guys. You've got to understand how difficult it was for somebody like me to go through the life I led. And so basically when my mum died, I was put into care. When you go into care, all parenting control's gone. There's nobody parenting you. You're just a kid that needs contained and needs to be protected from hurting himself or others. That's it. So I went from an absolute, Bailey, here girl. I went from absolute loving and caring mother to fighting for attention in the children's home. So obviously I had problems. I had anger issues. I was angry, you know what I mean? I was wanting attention. I was in a children's home with loads of kids with only maybe 2 or 3 members of staff. I missed my mum. I didn't understand none of it. I was being abused. So I moved from one children's home into another children's home, and I got abused like really bad, where I was groomed for a long time, and it was absolutely fucking soul destroying. Really, really difficult. And it only stopped when I really hurt the guy, you know. Bailey, this way girl. And so that led to more anger issues, more lashing out, because I never told anybody. You got to understand, it was a secret. I couldn't tell anybody about this. You know, I had mates. I was running about East Belfast. I was one of the boys. You know, couldn't tell anybody that kind of shit. You know what I mean? So I had to keep it all. You know what I mean? And I think that was a problem, not being able to talk about it. You know, obviously it came out after I fucking demolished the guy, but I was a long time suffering. So I started shaving my head, and I tattooed my arms from my wrist to the top of my arm when I was 11 years old. Tattoo, Indian ink and needles at 11 years old. Sat in my bedroom, I can picture it today, in this children's home on the bed. Must have spent about an hour to 2 hours tattooing. And I wrote, Mum, LFC for Linfield. And I wrote Yam, because I had a wee girlfriend called May, and I wrote her name backwards, you know. And I ended up, when I was 12, going to hospital, getting an operation. They took a big strip out of my arm and pulled it together, stitched it. The stitches came apart under a plaster parcel, and now my arm's a mess. I'll stick a photograph up. So yeah, and I had eye skin. I was a bit of a skinhead, eye skin. I like punk music and that. No, I promise you, I was in first year in school. I was 12 years old. And so when I went in the first year, when I was in Durmore High School, I wasn't allowed to mix with other kids because I had a skinhead, and I had to sit in another class, a math class, Mr. Heyman, while my hair grew during lunchtime and break time, so I never got to mix with any other kids. So I was having problems all directions. I wasn't doing my homework. I was getting caned for not doing my homework, and probably speaking back for getting shouted at for not doing my homework. But obviously I was up all night keeping on the honest fucking header and wasn't sleeping. So everything was suffering. And like I say, nobody was talking to me, nobody was caring. I was just getting pinned down all the time. Every time I was getting angry and lashing out, I was just getting pinned down by the staff, and it was just one thing after another. So between no going to school, missing school, not doing homework, getting caned, and just being bullied, all the rest of it, the children's home wasn't a safe place for me. Nowhere was safe. I was like out in the streets quite a lot. I was running about with older guys. I was getting into trouble, but I'd never broke the law in a way where I'd been done anything. I'd been involved in like riotous behaviour and all the rest of it with all the kids, and that was just everybody in the streets. Right, guys, what is it? So yeah, I was just involved in all sorts of madness, all the troubles. What's some of the troubles, throwing stuff to the police, but I'd never broken the law in a way where I'd been done or anything like that. And I'd never been arrested or nothing, you know. But the children's homes couldn't keep me in the children's home because I kept running away, and obviously I was a child, so but I was safe, you know what I mean. I was in East Belfast. We looked after our own, and I was well looked after by the locals, you know. And so the next thing I know, they put me in Rathgale, and like I say, 12 years old. First year in school. I was in first year. I know that because when I was put into Rathgale, I think I was even younger than that, to be honest with you. The first time I went into Rathgale, I think I was about 9 or 10. And then I was back in Rathgale when I was 11. But the thing about Rathgale was a place for criminals. It was for young boys that had broken the law, right? And they couldn't put them in prison, so they put them in Rathgale, and they got sentenced, and they done a sentence in Rathgale. I was the only kid that wasn't doing a sentence. I'd never broken the law, and I shouldn't have been there. So this is where I met my lifelong friends, right? This is the guys that I looked up to, older guys that looked after me, guys that protected me from other bullies, you know. And yeah, these guys became my lifelong friends. So these guys were already involved in stuff, so it was only a matter of course of me going the exact same direction as them. And so obviously here I find myself in 2 seconds, guys. I find this path. Okay, I was near the trees there. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. So here I am. I find myself basically becoming, sorry guys, I'm fucking blinded with this light, becoming a criminal basically, and having to make decisions because I wasn't a bad person. You got to remember that I was not a bad person. I didn't like hurting people. The thought of taking something of somebody just wasn't in my fucking DNA. Like I say, I've never stole off anybody, you know. I would never do anything like that. So it's 2 seconds, guys. This is a wee dodgy bit. It is a wee dodgy bit. 2 seconds, I'll turn this around, guys. See where the fuck I am. Where is my path? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So, basically, just going to turn this around, guys. I know it's not great, but just to get round this wee bit because it is really dodgy. Right, guys, this way. So, yeah, I know he's going to still hear me anyway. So, yeah, basically, I found myself going down this road of, you know, paramilitaries, all the rest of it, you know, and obviously they kept me right. But at the same time, I was still on the fringes of criminality, you know, to a certain degree. And I more or less found myself in a situation where I couldn't get a job because before I know it, people were wanting to kill me. You know, I was involved in stuff in Northern Ireland, and both different sides were in feuds and wanting to do damage to each other, and I had friends, losing friends around me, and it was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And yeah, it all went pretty pear-shaped pretty quickly. So between that and, you know, being in them circles, my honest to God matter of way thinking was banks was a victimless crime. And what's that banging? Billy, Tulip, come on guys. Bank robbery was a victimless crime. So therefore, I was doing no harm to nobody, you know. And it's the bank money in it. It's not like you're taking people's savings, you know. And so that's basically why I became a bank robber, you know. And you've got to understand this. I've had so many opportunities. This way, guys. Billy. This way. I've had so many opportunities to make so much money. But it was taking money from somebody that's earned it, you know. I've been around so many different criminals. I've been in so many different things. And had so many opportunities to do things that just didn't sit right with me. And drug dealing is one of them. I've got to be very careful what I say, because I know a lot of guys that are involved in a lot of things from a lot of different parts of Britain, you know. And I have to say this, I'm going to make this very clear. I do not have any drug dealers around me. Any of my friends are out of everything. They may be ex this and that, but they now live a straight and normal life, you know. And most of my friends have came from troubled backgrounds and stuff like that. Some are paramilitaries, some are gangsters, very well known, but they're out of it. They don't get involved in nothing. So I want to make that clear for anybody trying to put 2 and 2 together of who I might be talking about. But yeah, I've had so many opportunities of, like, you know, because there's so much money to be made with drugs, you know, there's no 2 ways about it. But it's not something I would ever do. It's not a road I could ever go down, because it's a moral thing. And there's been other situations where I could have made an awful lot of money, like hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of pounds. But it was a moral decision where I wouldn't get involved, you know. So I've always kept myself right that way, guys. And you know, I do want to take this point to apologise to anybody I've affected with my crimes. I did get 18 years. That was my final sentence for 3 bank robberies. I took the trial for 5 and found guilty for 3, not guilty for 2. And I got 18 years. If I had been found guilty for the 5, I would have got 22 years. And I was made that clear to me right from the start. But the point is, not everybody that's involved in crime are bad people. It's what they've been brought up with. It's the circumstances of their lives. You know, I'm a great believer if my mum hadn't died, or if I hadn't came from Belfast, I would have become something that would have been a credit. I would have been a credit to any society or community I belong to. You know, I'm always been very bright and intelligent, and I always come up with good ideas and think outside the box. And I know that I've a wee bit more than some people, you know. And that's also with the abuse of drugs. And you got to remember, I was sniffing glue from the ages of like 10 to 16. Like I was a really big glue sniffer, big, like, you know, it was a big part of my life, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much damage that done to me. And but glue was a big thing in children's homes, you know. It was common. Everybody done glue, you know. Yeah, so yeah, it's like just trying to explain to you, like, that, you know, there is bad men out there, you know. Like, there's other bank robbers that will tie up managers and stuff like that, and tie up people and, you know, cause serious problems. I would never ever do that. I would never hurt a family or anything like that, you know. As far as secure core vans, there's a lot of things I wouldn't do because I don't know how far I would go. You know, where my mental health has been in the past and the way I was brought up and the way I was, you know, there's no two ways about it, you know what I mean? I was a dangerous young man, you know, and I did have morals, but sometimes I would get myself into situations that maybe weren't so easy just to say no or turn around or get out of, you know. So, but cheer up, this way, Mum, we'll go this way. But no, I've managed to pull through all right. I've had lots of ups and downs, but in general, I feel a wee bit, you know, I always say I have no real regrets, you know, but I'm a bit disappointed that this life that I had a chance of went so wrong for me, you know. Do I take full responsibility for that? I'm not going to take full responsibility because I've got to be able to live with myself as well, you know what I mean? And I've got to understand, I was just a young boy, you know, and if they had pumped the millions and millions that they spent on me through court cases, legal aid, keeping me in prisons, all the rest of it. Right, Bailey, chill up, come here, sorry. Bailey, come here. If they all them billions of pounds that they spent then on prisons, come here, guys. Leave the guy alone. If they had spent 5% of that when I was younger, you know, they could have made such a difference to my life, you know what I mean? And, you know, the good thing about this as well is talking to you guys about it, you know, and like trying to let you understand it. And let me understand it as well, because it's difficult for a man that's led his life a certain way to try and understand why. You know, it's difficult when everybody says you're too nice, you know, you're too nice. It's the common thread of my life. And, you know, what goes along with being too nice? Trust me, it's not good being too nice when you're around criminals and gangsters. People do not trust people that are too nice. You do not know the amount of situations I've been in. Right, guys. What is wrong? Here, this way. Come here. Come on. Tulip, come here. Come here, what's up? What's up, guys? I'm just listening to my dogs, eh? Tulip, come here. Come in here. Is there somebody? Right, we'll go this way. Could be somebody following me. And then I just spun round there, you know what I mean? And they've went, oh, he's going back this way. Who knows? Paranoia, eh? Keeps you alive, guys. Keeps you alive. So it does. But no, Nothing wrong with it. Doesn't bother me, you know. Like, this is being on my toes. So, yeah, basically, yeah, it's difficult in life being a really nice person in the life of criminals and gangsters and stuff like that, paramilitaries, because people do get suspicious of people being too nice. And it's as simple as that, you know. And I have been in situations, loads of situations, with groups of guys where I'm maybe a new face, you know, and you get one person that I don't trust him. And that is a fucking nightmare. That is a nightmare, you know. Just takes one person. Come here, guys. Come here. Come on, this way. Fucking people everywhere. Take them through here. Come on, Bailey. Chill up. This way. In here. Down you go. Come on. Down you go. Yeah, it just takes one guy to cause all sorts of problems for you. And that's a side I've never really spoke about, so it isn't. I'll just let this guy get by. I'm going to turn you around, guys. Come on, keep walking. Yeah, it's something I've never really spoke about. That has caused me problems in the past because of the type of guy I am. And there's no two ways about it, you know. But like I said, I'm a very nice guy. But like people that know me properly know that I can be really bad as well. But like I say, I've explained that when you're in prisons and you're in situations where it's dark and dangerous, you do have to become somebody that you're not to survive. If you didn't, you would just get walked over. And, you know, I'll be honest with you, like sexual crimes in prison aren't heard of much, but they do happen. And it is a fear of most guys, to be honest with you. Every guy's biggest fear. If you're not that way inclined, obviously, well, no, it's not even nice saying that. So of course, it's everybody's biggest fear. No, I don't think anybody would like that, whether, no matter what. I think you are. I said that out of context there. I shouldn't have said that, like, guys. I'm not happy with myself for saying that, like, so I apologise and I take it back. Yeah, so a lot of guys would always be in the back of their mind, you know what I mean? And that was probably a driving force for me, guys, to be honest with you, because I looked so young when I was in my 20s. Like I say, I looked about 16, you know, and I've always looked about 10 years younger than I actually am. And not so much anymore, but when I was younger, I used to look really young. They used to call me baby face. I used to have some silly nicknames. And come on. And yeah, it was difficult, you know what I mean? And I think that was one of the things that drove me to be so violent, was to put people off because of what I've been through in the children's homes. And, you know, that was hard. That was hard. And I think I'm not going to say I promised myself there and then it would never happen again. But I probably did, subconsciously. And that's why I became the person I became in prison. But that wasn't the way I was outside. You know, I struggled outside socially because I was used to being hard and bad and nasty and, you know what I mean? And then outside, you know, it was difficult to react and adapt to social life, you know what I mean? I just found like a lot of people didn't realise how much danger they were in, you know what I mean? Because it's difficult for you to transition from prison to social, like public, being out in public. And I know it sounds nuts, but you know what it is, guys. When you're a certain way and you're driving yourself to be a certain way to protect yourself, and it goes on for years and years, you sort of become that character. You know, you really do. Like, but listen, I'm not going to do your nuts in, you know what I mean? Like I say, I never know what I'm going to talk about, guys. I know I've got a wee mark on my nose. A dog scratched my nose. But yeah, I'm not making excuses, guys. I deserved everything I've got prison-wise, you know what I mean? And I do apologise to everybody that's been involved in my carry-ons in my past, my life. And yeah. That's the reason why, guys. That's the reason I come up with why I did what I did, you know. I didn't do it, you know what I mean? I didn't do it. I've got to be careful what I say because, like, you know, I think it was the adrenaline as well, you know what I mean? It drove me, you know, it was like something that I needed to do sometimes and I didn't even need the money. It was nuts. I can't really explain it and I've got to be very careful what I say. But like I say, it's for entertainment and educational purposes only. It's my opinion. And it's not all about me, you know. and who knows, it could be talking absolute BS. So yeah, you got to be very careful on the internet, guys. You know, I'm trying to bring you the truth and the stuff and that, and try and tell you what life is like, and I try to talk about things to you that nobody else talks about. Because to be honest with you, most of the guys on here, you know, most of the guys are at the end of a battle or at the end of a needle, or you know, committed to suicide. You know, and that's the truth. Most guys have been through children's homes and been abused. Normally don't make it to their 50s. You know, and that's their figures that you'll never really get. You know, this is the figures that I know, that I see, people that I grew up with that are no longer here, and the ones that are here that have got problems with drinking drugs. It's there in front of me. I don't need statistics to work that one out, guys, you know. But listen, right, guys, come here. I'm gonna call it a day, and like I say, it's just a wee random video. I hope you like it. Send me a wee comment. I'll get back to you. And like I say, I haven't been on top of everything right now, just because of baby and Katie and that. And but everything's going really well. Really having a really good time. And yeah, I want to catch up with my friends a bit more, like Ronnie and Mickey, and you know, man, I want to catch up with Amber before Christmas. I want Amber to see the win, stuff like that. But yeah, it's not always easy. Life is never as easy. Right, guys, come here. But I'm going to end that now, and call it a night. And God bless every single one of you.